Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to The Splash Live. I am Larry Nilan. Thanks to everyone from West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake for tuning in on this Tuesday morning. The Splash Live is Greater West Bloomfield's very own daily TV and radio streaming show. Always watch us live Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. on Civic Center TV. Catch us on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, on the web at civiccentertv.com, on Civic Center TV's Facebook app, and you can even listen live on 89.3 to Lakes FM. The Splash Live is part of Civic Center TV and Lakes FM's 90 minutes of local live programming. Looking ahead at the weather for today, boy, another unseasonably warm day today, a high of 81. Tonight it's going to be some thunderstorms with a low of 68, and another scorcher tomorrow, sunny with a high of about 85 degrees. Here's the deal. I've already put the fall clothes in the closet. I'm ready for you, fall. These summer temps need to end. I have no room in the closet for 2 to 3 sets of wardrobes. This shirt right here, this needs to go into storage, all right? So let's get back to fall. I think fall is going to start up pretty good on Thursday, so we're looking forward to that. Looking ahead at some headlines here. Well, if you're used to buying your towels, bedding, and cookware at the area's only Bed Bath & Beyond on Orchard Lake Road near 14 Mile, you're soon going to have to make new plans. Bed Bath & Beyond announced a slew of over 150 store closings nationwide, and 5 of those are in Michigan, including the Farmington Hills location. There's an everything is in this store is on sale sign in front of the location as they work to liquidate all the merchandise. There's a lot of reasons for retail struggles right now all around the country, Amazon being one of them, but it's always a sad day when places we're used to shopping in are no longer there, not to mention the employees who will soon be looking for new jobs. Oh, the West Bloomfield Lakers. They are untouchable right now. Another win last Friday for West Bloomfield when they faced Clarkston, and they downed the Bears there 35-27. The Lakers are moving forward in their winning streak this season. Our own Tyler Keefe will be posting this latest episode of This Week in Laker Football later today on civiccentertv.com. The 4-0 team has high hopes heading into Friday's game at Rochester Adams. If you can't make it to the game, tune in live on Civic Center TV and WBTV, or listen anywhere on 89.3 Lakes FM. Well, Michigan Trails Week is in full swing, and you can show your state pride by participating. Join West Bloomfield Parks by traveling to different trails in West Bloomfield and enter the Michigan Week photo scavenger hunt by taking photos of at least 3 different trails and submitting them. Grab your shoes, and we'll see you out there. Suzanne Levine and the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce recently held their annual leadership breakfast at the beautiful Wabi Country Club. I had the chance to talk with Fox 2 Detroit's Roop Raj about his career and his well-deserved recent promotion. Let's take a look. Suzanne Levine and the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce recently welcomed Fox 2 Detroit's anchor and reporter Roop Raj for a leadership breakfast. I had the chance to congratulate Roop, who along with Taryn Asher was just officially named part of Fox 2's lead anchor team.
Thank you. It's fun to be, we do so much news at that TV station, 11 and a half hours a day. And at any given time, I always tell people the main anchor is who you're watching at that time. So in the morning, it could be Josh Landon or Jay Towers or Amy Andrews or Dina. I'm just so thrilled to be a part of this TV station that honestly, more people are watching us than ever before, and there's a reason. I think people really trust and want local news that comes from people that live in their community that they can trust and know. And so it's just been so fun to be a part of it. The evenings are really fun.
Roop Raj has been a part of Metro Detroiters' lives on Fox 2 for over a decade, and it turns out his broadcast news aspirations began in this area when he was growing up in Oakland County.
Troy High guy, then I went to Michigan State, and I was doing the college news show at Michigan State. When I was there, the CBS station in Lansing caught wind of my work I was doing on the college show, so they said, hey, you want to be on the air here? So every weekend I would go in and cover like the best Halloween costumes or the dessert festival or the horse and burro show or whatever it was. And then in Lansing, I continued to do TV at the ABC station my junior year. Then my senior year, the Flynn NBC station asked me to come and report there. So that's how kind of I started when I was 21, 22, and now I'm 46, and so it's not been that long, but It's been a couple decades.
This past March, longtime stalwarts Huel Perkins and Monica Gale retired from their positions as Fox 2 Detroit's top anchor team after 25 years together on the air. I wondered if Roop feels any pressure with trying to fill their shoes.
You know, it's interesting. I'll just say this first. You know, people always say, you know, you want to be the next this or the next that. I would say, no, I want to be the next Roop Raj. And what that means is, like, to me, you never try to be the person who came before you. But what you have to do is you really have to do a study and understand who they were, why they were so successful, and what they meant to this community. And I realize all of those things because I'm really good friends with Huel and Monica. And so for 30 years, I've known Huel. I was a 14-year-old kid, and I asked him to come on a TV talk show I was doing in Troy, Michigan, at the Municipal Access Station there. And Huel and I became friends then, and he was a mentor for many years. And when he retired, it was just like, to me, like I watched him for all these years, right? How you treat people, how you treat guests, how you be a leader in the newsroom, rather. And to me, you got to figure out your own way to do all that. And that's what's been fun the last 13 years of Fox 2 is like figuring out my own way. But Monica and Huel have meant to this community, they brought Channel 2, Fox 2 to what it is. It's on their shoulders that I stand and Taryn stands and all of us stand to say, hey, you know, what did they do and how do we maintain that leadership style and that legacy? And we can only do a small part of that, but we're going to continue to try.
Reporting for The Splash Live, this is Larry Nilan. And looking ahead to October, Fire Prevention Week is almost here, and the West Bloomfield Fire Department is holding an open house. Come on down and get to experience firsthand how to prevent fires and how to learn more about what our firefighters do to keep our community safe. Here's a quick promo for the Fire Department open house. Let's take a look.
Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner. Join volunteer, part-time, and on-call firefighters at this year's Fire Open House. Catch up on your fire safety knowledge with live demonstrations and hands-on activities. Chat with local businesses and resources about fire prevention, see some familiar faces, fight future fires, and make some new friends. The West Bloomfield Fire Open House, October 2nd from noon to 3 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road.
We're going to head to a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking with the leader of the aforementioned West Bloomfield Fire Department, Chief Greg Flynn. We'll be right back here on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
You know, it's peaceful, it's quiet, and the noise and stress of life can sometimes disappear.
It's the Great Lakes water, and so what people do ends up in our waterways.
It's for our health and safety, it's for our economy, it's for protecting the environment that we all enjoy and we all need to survive.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
We're all about one water in this region. We're all connected. We all have a role.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I am Larry Nilan. Well, October 2nd kicks off Fire Prevention Week, and along with Fire Prevention Week, Civic Center TV will be live at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road, right near the high school, for the annual open house. Joining us now is West Bloomfield Fire Department Chief Greg Flynn to talk all about it. Greg, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Larry, good morning. Great to be with you.
So, I understand that this is the 100th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. Can you talk about what the history of Fire Prevention Week is and what the goal of it is?
You know, fire has, when we look back in history, fire's been a significant cause of death within communities across our country, especially as it was building up. You know, many people remember or have heard or studied the Great Chicago Fire. With the lantern being kicked over in the milking shed and then spreading, throughout the city. Or I should say the tale of that being the cause of the fire. We look at fire in the United States differently than other countries do, Larry. We see fire as kind of an accident, something that just happened. And I think that disconnect between bringing accountability and responsibility for how we handle fire within our homes and within our communities really shapes our attitude towards that and towards prevention. And Fire Safety Week, first week in October, where fire departments across this country bring prevention to the forefront of the discussion, is part of shaping that conversation and making sure that people realize that while we use fire to heat our homes and to cook our meals, we need to do so with purpose and keeping safety in mind at all times.
So as the forecast looks like on Thursday, we're going to start getting some colder weather, and with that brings people turning their furnaces on, using their fireplaces. Could you talk about when the weather starts to change and these things start to be utilized, what people need to keep in mind as far as fire safety?
You bring up two really great points as that weather changes, Larry. And the thing we want people to realize is if your furnace, most of the companies have preventative maintenance programs that will come out, and that technician will come out and make sure that they blow any dust and stuff like that off of your burners before they fire up for the cooler weather. And that avoids that smell that sometimes enters the home when people fire up their furnace for the first time after it's set idle for so long. Especially if they've been doing home improvement projects in their basement or crafts or something where they produce large amounts of dust, then that accumulates on those burners inside the furnace. And then when they kick on, all of that product burns off and really can put you at risk for poor efficiency within the furnace, possible malfunction, but ultimately kind of a bad odor in the home. At all times, we encourage people to obviously call us out. We're happy to help sniff that out and look for the culprit of the odor within the home. But that's a good step, is to do some preventative maintenance before you fire it up. And the other good one that you brought up are fires. And we want to make sure that people understand that that you open the flue. That inevitably happens a couple times every year, where someone gets the fire all set and they light that newspaper, that fire starter, and suddenly the smoke is filling the room because they forgot to open the flue and allow that smoke to go out. So I always encourage people to just light that one piece of paper just to test that there's a good draw going up the flue before you light everything else on fire, and getting the chimney sweep out to check the status of your chimney and make sure there's no creosote or buildup inside of that chimney really sets you up for just an enjoyable season of enjoying your fireplace in your home.
You brought up when you turn the furnace on for the first time, the different smells. It's always one of those things where you're like, is this a normal smell? Is this what it should smell like? And I think a lot of people are hesitant to go, well, should I call the fire department over this or just an odd smell? So how can you make that determination on when you think something is a problem?
Really, if the smell resolves quickly, it's probably just the dust. So if it's a temporary thing and then all of a sudden you're searching like, well, can you smell it? So, well, I think I can. That's probably an odor that was just quickly burning off some light dust that was on the burners, and you're all set. If that smell is lingering, if you're 4, 5, 6, 10 minutes into this and it's still lingering or building, you need to dial 911 and we'll send units over, and it's not a problem. That's one of the things we take pride on, is that our community supports the fire department, so we want to be there to support them. Even if it's just as a precaution for us to come out. And we're happy to take that call, Larry, when someone says, could they just come over and take a look? I don't see any smoke. I don't see any flames, but I'm concerned. And often what we'll do is just roll an engine company, 2 people in the fire engine, that'll come over non-emergency, and we'll just take a look, and we're going to send over your closest fire station.
So, Chief, we recently had the 21st anniversary of 9/11, a day which sadly took the lives of so many firefighters from New York City. I know that event led to a huge number of men and women choosing to work as firefighters all over the country. Can you take us back a little bit in time and tell us what inspired you to become a firefighter?
Well, I started at a very young age. The catalyst that kind of set me on this path was my niece, Jessica. She had a seizure as a baby, and I just remember I come from a big family, and we were all there, and my sister-in-law yelled from her where she was in her crib, and we all went in, and there she was having a seizure and turning blue, and everybody was scared, and we stood there, and we didn't know what to do. And, we did call 911, and within just a few short minutes, a firefighter showed up that was trained as an EMT as well, and quickly was able to clear her airway and get her on her side. And as the seizure subsided, she started to breathe again, and I was just in awe of the calm that he brought to the situation. And I said at that point, that's what I want to do. And I set out on that path. I was probably maybe a freshman in high school at that point. And as soon as I could get enrolled into a class, I was. And I started out at the Goodrich Volunteer Ambulance Base up in Genesee County. And I would go up there after school and dispatch until I turned 18, and I was able to get on an ambulance. And that's where I've worked ever since, Larry, is in the back of an ambulance, except for one stint. I worked at a Frank's Nursery in Kratz, and I was the Christmas tree lighting specialist. So I was the guy who could tell you how many of those you could put together before you, maybe that's what got me down that fire roll, is when Christmas tree lights, kind of too many in line. So
Frank's Nursery and Craft, I have this memory of my mom as a young child dragging me there to just look at decorations. It was usually after Christmas when they were on sale, and we just kept going to Frank's.
There are so many people right now that have never even seen one of those that are listening to this. But there is going to be an audience, too, that has fond memories of it, like you and I as well. But that whole time in my kind of early years, my formative years in this whole public safety area, I wouldn't change it. It really shaped where I was going. And then I went on to get my paramedic and my fire training. And I'm over 24 years of service here in this community that's been very supportive of the fire department. And I wouldn't change a thing. But you bring up the 9/11, and I think that one of the concerns we have as someone who was alive during 9/11 and as an active responder, not to the event, but working and feeling and empathizing with those first responders in New York and across this country, that we're in a different spot now, Larry, and we're not many people aren't hearing that call, and that is having a negative impact on police and fire and EMS. You may have seen some social media campaigns put out by the state trying to incentivize and bring awareness to these job opportunities as EMTs and paramedics and firefighters and police officers. And I appreciate the opportunity that you continue to highlight that, and your team highlighting that, because it's important that our community have first responders that are dedicated and really want to be doing these jobs.
So if we do have anyone in the audience who is interested in being a firefighter, or they have friends or relatives who might be, what are the first steps they can take to make that happen?
I think one of the first steps is just come see us. Call us over here at Fire Headquarters, 248-409-1505, and set up an opportunity to come in. And I'd love to chat with someone that's going down that path of looking at public safety. I'm sure our friends over at the police department would have a similar response and be willing to talk to the youth and what it means, because I think that there's a difference between this narrative that you see in national media about what it means to be a firefighter or a police officer or a paramedic, and the narrative that is local and what it's like to be a police officer or a firefighter or paramedic here in West Bloomfield or in southeastern Michigan. And that's important to keep in mind. There's some great programs here through Oakland Community College, through the Fire Academy and the EMT Academy and the Police Academy. So there's local programs and there's local support. And I think you're even going to find there's going to be more support in the years to come through our township board as they start to really incentivize people coming in with less training and we train them up to the level that they need to be to fully integrate into our team.
So, Chief, we mentioned at the onset here the big fire station open house is coming up. Can you tell everyone when and where that will be held, and what can local visitors expect to find there?
This will be, I think, my 24th fire open house, and I'm not certain that I've missed one of those over the years. It's one of my favorite days out of the year. October 2nd, Fire Station 1, right in front of the high school. Parking will be at the high school. There's not any ability to park there because we're going to use every bit of space that we have to do the demonstrations and show how we extricate from a vehicle or the kitchen fire, and there'll be all kinds of interactive things for the kids to do too. There'll be a shuttle from our friends at Parks and Rec, and so people, if they can't make the walk or just would rather have a shuttle over, and they'll drop them right off at the fire station. It really is just a great opportunity, young and old, to revisit what it means, because fire is everyone's fight. And it's not just the firefighters in the community, it's everyone within the community. And when we all have a better working understanding of that, Larry, it just makes the community safer, because fire is devastating. The smoke, the damage, the water, everything that goes into it's devastating to a family when it strikes. So if we can minimize that risk, I would love to report, Larry, one time we had 0 fires in West Bloomfield. I would love to give that report, but unfortunately, we're just not there yet, so we need to continue the fight.
Well, Chief, we will be broadcasting live with our own Dave Scott and Tyler Keefe on site, and we will see you at the open house. And thanks so much for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome. Have a great day, Larry.
Thank you. You as well. It's Chief Greg Flynn from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. We're going to head to another quick break, but when we come back, we'll be joined by Lucy Barber from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner. Join volunteer, part-time, and on-call firefighters at this year's Fire Open House. Catch up on your fire safety knowledge with live demonstrations and hands-on activities. Chat with local businesses and resources about fire prevention, see some familiar faces, fight future fires, and make some new friends. The West Bloomfield Fire Open House, October 2nd from noon to 3 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I am Larry Nilan. Well, when we complain about some of the minor problems in our lives, it's sometimes easy to forget that there are countless folks just in our area who struggle to obtain the basic needs in life, such as clothing, doing their part to help out those in need, and who is partnering with the West Bloomfield School District in their efforts is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Farmington Hills. Joining us now is the Communications Director from that church, Lucy Barber. Lucy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So, Lucy, could you tell us about the Michigan Clothing Drive distribution taking place this Friday and Saturday?
Well, it's actually not this Friday and Saturday.
I'm sorry.
It's
October. It's right in front of me. I'm glad it's not October yet. But yes, I'm sorry. Next Friday and Saturday.
No, I get it. I just don't want anybody coming and there not being anything there this weekend. But yeah, so since 2009, our church has hosted a clothing distribution, with the exception of 2020 and 2021. So we're hoping to come back this year really strong and invite even more people out in the community that might need some winter clothing and might need some extra help. So yeah, please come out. If you feel like you need some clothing, women's clothing, men's clothing, children's clothing, winter coats, winter boots. These are all gently used items. And we do have a limited number of brand new wool blankets that we're going to be giving out. Friday is by voucher only. So if you want to email and request a voucher, you can do so. That email was on that flyer. It's fh.ward.mi@gmail.com. And we would be happy to get you a voucher. Those, obviously, if you come on Friday without one, we won't turn you away. But we want to help as many people as possible. So please don't be afraid to ask.
So, Lucy, you're partnering in this venture with schools from all over the area. Can you talk about your partnership with West Bloomfield Schools and how that came about?
Yeah, well, I'm a mother. I live in West Bloomfield for the past 15 years, and my oldest just graduated from West Bloomfield High School last year. I have another high schooler, a middle schooler, and a kindergartner this year, so I'm going to be in this for a while. We've never actually partnered with West Bloomfield School District before, and I've always wondered why, and this year I was invited to be have a little bit more of an active part in our clothing distribution. And I said, hey, I'm going to contact West Bloomfield School District and we're going to invite them because there's needs everywhere. It doesn't matter where we live. And I have some good friends in the school district. And so I called them up and there you have it. We have a number of vouchers from West Bloomfield School District to hand out. So yeah, just reach out. If you're on the backpack program or the free lunch program, contact those same people and they can get you a voucher.
So what can the members of our audience do if they want to help out with donations of either clothing or financial donations? What can they do? This is a completely free and volunteer-based event. So we won't be taking financial aid for it. And if you have donations of clothing, we ask that you go ahead and give them to places like Open Door Outreach Center or Oakland County Foster Closet or other places that do this year-round. We've got plenty of clothing right now, so we won't be asking or accepting any donations, but we will be having those same organizations at our event, so the families that need help year-round will have the resources to get it. So yeah, this is a one-time thing for us. We do it once a year, and we'll be doing it again next year, but for this year, it's on October 21st and 22nd. So if people want to contact you and the folks of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints about this effort, how can they get in touch with you?
So the best way to do that is to send an email to that email address on the flyer, which is fh.ward.mi@gmail.com. Just include your contact information and where you heard about the drive, and we will answer your questions, I promise.
Well, Lucy, we want to thank you folks for your great efforts, and thank you for joining us this morning, and we want to wish you the best of luck with everything on next Friday and Saturday.
Thank you so much.
That was Lucy Barber, Communications Director for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We want to thank you all for joining us today on The Splash Live. I am Larry Nilan. Happy Tuesday to all of you from our Greater West Bloomfield TV, radio, and streaming show, The Splash Live. Watch us live Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. on Civic Center TV. Also watch us on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, on the web at Civic Center TV, and on Civic Center TV's Facebook app and 89.3 Lakes FM. West Bloomfield, we will see you tomorrow.